What is going on, everybody? Welcome back into TTP Sports. And the Flyers definitely put on a show tonight in another return for Cutter Gauthier to South Philadelphia. And the barn was packed. The Xfinity Mobile was rocking. Fans, obviously, a lot of things said towards the direction of one Cutter Gauthier. A lot of fuck you, Cutters. A lot of that. And tonight results in a 5-2 Flyers win. Trevor Zegras against his former team. Absolutely dynamic. 2 goals. One shy of a hat trick. He scored 2 goals in the first period. I really thought he was going to get that hat trick. This game was chippy. This game was brutal. This game was mean. There were hits all over the place. Garnett halfway literally killed a couple of people out there tonight. The Anaheim Ducks literally were just out for blood at some point in this game, where I guess at the end of the day, the result didn't matter to them. They were just willing to take heads and take names with them, basically, because, my God, they are probably the dirtiest team that I've ever seen in my goddamn life. Holy shit. Holy shit, that team is dirty. Ross Johnston, what he did to frickin' Jamie Drysdale, getting him out of the game. Radko Gudas, well, that's not even surprising to me. Radko Gudas is a dirty player. And just everything. My God. Like, how many Jacob Trouba, that's not surprising either. So, it's crazy. My God. They are probably the biggest bunch of scumbags that I've ever seen in my life. That is one of the dirtiest teams that I've ever seen in my life. My God. Now, granted, the one very big negative of this game is your power play sucks. Oh my God. How many? You had 8 power plays in this game. You had 8, including a 5-on-3 and a 5-minute major. You only scored on 1 power play, and that was the first period. That was one of the Trevor Zegras goals. You couldn't score on the power play the rest of the game to save your life. You could have freaking... Imagine if this team had a good power play. What would the score be at this rate? With the rate of how many power plays they got in this game. Probably would have had at least 8 goals if you had a competent power play. My God, the power play sucks. And that's one of the low nitpicks of today. Not really a nitpick because that is a glaring issue with this team. But holy shit, this power play. Is this power play worse than Rocky Thompson's? I have no idea. It's probably just as bad. Just as bad. This power play stinks. I know I couldn't avoid it. I couldn't avoid talking about it. This power play sucks. But hey, you had a solid road trip on the West Coast. Had a very good response in Edmonton after, you lost the second half of a back-to-back in Calgary on New Year's. Very good game at Edmonton. Go up big. Denver Barkey gets his first goal. You find a way to hold off an Edmonton team, where Connor McDavid is literally just torching everybody in the league right now. You find a way to win that. Dan Vladar was very good. Coming to tonight after a very long road trip, Anaheim's on the second half of a back-to-back. Anaheim does score the first goal. Of course, it's Cutter Gauthier getting, his little one-up on the Flyers fans, doing, I guess, some type of celebration to the crowd or something like that. But then... not that long after that, Trevor Zegras with his response. And the pick up the phone and hang up celebration. Love it. And Trevor Zegras did have a very great post-game interaction with Scott Hartnell on the bench after the game. And I definitely want to get to that. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted for that. But that was what Trevor Zegras said. Just pure honesty. Electric stuff. And this game's also coming off of what happened last night with the extension of Christian Dvorak. And I definitely will get into that in a little bit here, but really just focusing on this game right now. Trevor Zegras just amazing. What he has turned himself into on this team. For a team like Anaheim giving up on him, basically. They did not want him. Flyers getting him for literally pennies on the dollar. He comes here. As much as I do criticize Rick Tocchet, something is working for Trevor Zegras in this Rick Tocchet system. He is flourishing here. He looks like, what he was, expected to be coming out of the draft. He's literally hitting his ceiling and everything like that. He is fantastic, and he is a huge part of this team for the future, and hopefully an extension does come for him in a not-so-distant future, because this dude is just playing out of his mind. He is very fun to watch with the 2 goals tonight. I love watching Trevor Zegras, and it looks like he's really taken the Philadelphia taken to the Flyers fans, and, taken to the city. And it's very fun to see that out of a player, with this type of potential that Trevor Zegras does have. It does help this team for the future when you add that with, when Matvei Michkov eventually reaches his, ceiling, his potential, when Porter Martone eventually gets here, and if he reaches his potential, regardless of the other problems that I do have with this Flyers, plan and all that stuff. I'm not really going to try to harsh into that tonight. I don't think that's the right time to do this. I would have done a pure reaction to the Christian Dvorak extension last night because I definitely wasn't the biggest fan of it. But I was just with Russ doing his reaction to it, having to edit that, with Brodes doing his reaction plus his Eagles pod. I just didn't have time to react to it last night. I was also watching Monday Night Raw. So that's the Elietta take right here. But just into this game, everything, like I said, Anaheim's fucking dirty. My God, that's an embarrassment what Anaheim did tonight from what they were doing. Like, holy fucking shit. Holy, it got that bad. It got that bad. Oh my God. I just, how is one team that dirty? Well, but then when you think of it, when you have a lot of players in the lineup that are known to be dirty and do dirty hits throughout the league, no wonder why the team's dirty. No wonder why they play dirty. Fucking Radko Gudas, Trouba, Johnston, and all that stuff, insane. The stuff what happened to Drysdale, hopefully he's okay with everything. Bobby Brink left the game early, most likely went into concussion protocol after the hit that he took in the first period. So the Anaheim, it wasn't pretty. It just so dirty. It was disgusting to watch on that aspect. The Flyers didn't back down though. Like I said, Garnett Hathaway, the hits that Hathaway did were clean. Like what Hathaway was doing tonight, that was clean. He was hitting guys clean, and of course Anaheim had to respond and all that. Gudas and all that. Like what Radko Gudas did to Noah Cates after, I believe it was him and Grebenkin in the third period that were down low in the Anaheim zone battling for possession. Grebenkin comes up with the puck, but for some reason, Radko Gudas literally just goes after Noah Cates, throws him to the ground, and elbows him in the head. And then what Jacob Trouba did, I think it was to Denver Barkey in the third period, if I'm not mistaken, literally just flying elbow right into his face for no reason where there's nobody else in the neutral zone. It's insane. Insane how dirty some players can be. And like even the hit on Jamie Drysdale, that was headshot, that was knee on knee, that was literally everything. They even brought the stretcher out for Drysdale. Thankfully he didn't have to go on the stretcher. But like just the whole process in general, what the fuck Anaheim was doing, my God. Terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. It's just crazy. It's crazy how dirty that team is. But good on the Flyers for not backing down, and good on the Flyers for putting out the statement tonight at today's game. Once again, getting chippy with Cutter Gauthier. Couturier got chippy with him a little bit. Konechny obviously talking his shit. It was a fun game. It was, if you like physical hockey, this was definitely your type of bread and butter. No doubt. But just going over the process of this game, obviously Trevor Zegras with the 2 goals in the first period, both basically from the same exact angle. One of those was off of a really good keep-in by, I believe it was Owen Tippett, and then just, eventually Dvorak finding Zegras backdoor. I believe York found Zegras backdoor on the power play where he scored that goal in the first period, so that was very nice to see. After the extended power plays that they got in the second period, they eventually finally cashed in. They're crediting the goal to Cam York still. I have thought Noah Cates got a piece of this on the tip-in, on the shot from the point from Cam York, but it still says it's Cam York's goal, so maybe it went off of an Anaheim player. I have no idea. And then Travis Sanheim off of a face-off win, blast one home from the point, puts you up 4-1. Anaheim did get an early power play goal in the third period by Killorn, but then Nikita Grebenkin eventually got the empty netter after the Flyers still got a bunch of power plays and Anaheim just being fucking dirty as shit the entire rest of the game. It definitely was a good finish for your Fly guys. Definitely, no doubt. I do want to get to this comment from Trevor Zegras post-game because I think it's just, it's crazy. So I want to find the entire clip. I think it was, where was it at? Trevor Zegras. Where is the clip? Where is the clip? Here we go. Let me get this for y'all. So make sure it's there. And let's hear what Trevor Zegras has to say with Scott Hartnell. It was a good clip. It's good. It is A plus. A plus is all the way.
Probably the mask in the locker room, but right now he gets a chance to chat with our Scotty Hartnell.
Thanks, guys. Down here with Trevor Zegras. What a wild atmosphere here at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. It's fun for the fans, fun for us talking. How about playing?
It was amazing. I missed last year's game, but I heard all about it. I was fired up to play in this one. The boos were great, but the cheers were even better.
Oh, that's awesome. And a team that might have given up on you, Trevor, and you come in here, you pot two in that first period. How good did that feel?
Fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Awesome, buddy. And I got to ask you about the celebration on the first one. You hung up the phone. Who was it to, and what's that all about?
I don't know. But that's about how quick the phone call was before, so I thought it'd be good.
That's great. And one last one for you. Christian Dvorak signs a big ticket, 5 years. He better be buying the next dinner out, right?
He's the best. He's amazing. I'm so happy for him. We love him, and it's a nice deal for both of them.
Nice. Congrats on the big win. Back to you guys.
All right, Scotty.
Like, how can you not love that? How can you not love that? Insane stuff from Trevor. You gotta love it, man. You gotta fucking love it. Just great. Like, drops the F-bomb twice on the interview. Of course, the Flyers reposted that on their Twitter account, and they had to censor it, obviously. Which is funny. But, just everything. You know he's pissed off with... You know he's pissed off still at Anaheim for the way they literally just gave up on him. You know that had to have felt good tonight for Trevor. Felt good all around. So might as well get into the Christian Dvorak contract. So last night, obviously, it was around maybe like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock or something like that between those times where the Flyers, and granted, this was rumored for a couple of weeks at this point, that the Flyers were going to be in talks to extend Christian Dvorak. And just, first glance, you're looking at the contract, obviously, was not a fan of the term. 5 years, I believe $5.15 million annual salary. Anthony Sanfilippo actually broke down the contract not that long ago during the game, and these are the details of the entire contract. So the annual value on the cap is going to be 1.15. First year he'll be making $6 million. Year 2 he'll be making $5.5. Year 3 $5 million. Year 4 4.75, and then year 5 4.5. There's a signing bonus in each of the first 3 seasons. No trade protection is full in years 1 for 2. 20-team no trade list in year 3, and then a 5-team in year 4, and then no protection in year 5. So that's the entire breakdown of the contract. And it's not the money that I have an issue with. The cap hit's fine. The cap hit is fine. It's the term. It is literally the term. It's just the and it's not the contract that annoys me. Well, the contract does annoy me because not that I think it's like a joke of a contract, not that I think this is going to derail the team for so long, and I don't think that. It's just like the entire amalgamation of this contract extension for Christian Dvorak just kind of makes me feel like they're admitting that Jet Luchenko and stuff like that. Jet Luchenko's not going to be ready for a long time, and they really don't have that much belief in Jet Luchenko, in my personal opinion, because I don't have much belief in Jet Luchenko. And now I'm not going to base everything off of the recent World Junior Tournament, but just overall from his juniors to now even this year's World Junior Tournament, he did not play good in the World Juniors. He was on the 4th line. I believe he only had 1 point in this entire tournament, if I'm not mistaken. He was not good. He was playing 4th line left wing, so he wasn't even playing his natural position of being center. So, just very soured on the Jet Luchenko experience. Granted, he's barely been in the NHL. I feel like this contract isn't a minute of that. Same thing with, not really admitting Jack Nesbitt, because Jack Nesbitt was always going to be a type of player, even though I'm not big on Jack Nesbitt either. I think that was also a reach in the draft. I think that's just what that contract signifies, that you don't have much, obviously you don't have much from the pipeline that can come up and fill that role of a Christian Dvorak, to where you got to extend them for 5 years. And that still also comes to the fact that you're still trying to get these high-end talents for, a first-line center, a second-line center, and a first-pairing number 1 defenseman. I still just don't know where you're going to find that with the just where you're at right now. That's like really my whole problem with it, because that's where my frustration comes from. I don't think the contract is an albatross, but it's like the other issues that just base off the top of the contract. It's like this contract plus, which just adds to the frustration. The contract's not the entirety of my frustration. It's just another peg on some of my frustrations with the way they're building the team right now, just in my personal opinion. But, good for Dvorak. He is playing well this year. There is some chemistry with him and Trevor Zegras. But you also have to point out, because it's fair to point out, that Christian Dvorak has not surpassed 38 points at all in his entire career. That's his career high. And granted, he's going to surpass those totals this year, but that's not guaranteed what he's going to be like the rest of the contract. And he's most likely just going to be a bottom six forward at that point, unless they get to figure out to find a way to get a top center, which I still don't know how they're going to do that. So that's my entire right now issue with the contract. That it's just like a whole amalgamation of a lot of things combined. It's not just solely the contract that I have the issue with. That's basically it. It really just feels like, like an admittance of the whole Jet Luchenko situation. That's just what I think, at least. So, off of that, going to where the Flyers record is right now, they are in third place in the Metropolitan Division. They're 22-12-7. They're on a 2-game winning streak. And in terms of what the separation is like for them with the division and the wild card, they're 1 point behind the New York Islanders, who are in second place. They're 4 points behind the Carolina Hurricanes, who look like they're just taking off a little bit right there. And then the teams that are behind the Flyers, the Capitals, they're a point behind them in the wild card spot, the first wild card spot, that is, and then the Pittsburgh Penguins, they're in the second wild card spot with 49 points. And then Buffalo, they've been on a major hot streak. They got 48 points. They're a point out of the last playoff spot. Panthers, they're 2 points out. Maple Leafs, they're 2 points out. They've been playing a lot better as of late. Boston, they seem to die down a little bit. The Devils are on a free fall right now. The Rangers, they're not that good. The Senators, they're just the Senators, and the Blue Jackets are the Blue Jackets. So it is what it is at this point. So you're in the mix, but there's still not much separation with a lot of these teams. It's just that crazy. It is that crazy how little separation there is with the Eastern Conference standings. And I'm sure it's like that with the Western Conference too. Yeah, it's definitely like that with the Western Conference, because really the class of the Western Conference is Colorado, Dallas, and Minnesota. That's it. And then the Pacific Division, every team is separated by a point. Then you look at the wild card standings, it's crazy. It is crazy. Anaheim's Anaheim coming into tonight, I believe they were on a 6-game losing streak. I think this is their 6th loss or 7th loss in a row. Granted, they do have some overtime losses mixed in there, but still like an extended losing streak for them, not the best. Let's see what else. The Kings are in the wild card spot. Ducks are in that last wild card spot. Vegas, Edmonton, Seattle, they're all in the mix there in the division. It's crazy. So if we look at the Flyers' upcoming schedule, they do have a couple of home games coming up this week. 3 more home games in this homestand. So Thursday they play the Toronto Maple Leafs, who've been playing a lot better as of lately. Then they play, for some reason, 2 straight home games against the Tampa Bay Lightning, which does not make sense. Saturday at 7 o'clock and then Monday at 7 o'clock. Both games against Tampa Bay. It's weird. I don't know who came up with that schedule decision. Then after Tampa Bay, they have a back-to-back on the road against Buffalo and Pittsburgh. Those will be 2 tough games. They got a Saturday 1 o'clock game on the 17th against the Rangers at home. Then they go back out on the West Coast for a week in Vegas, in Utah, and Colorado. Then they come back home on the 26th against the Islanders. Then they're another road back-to-back on a Wednesday, Thursday in Columbus and Boston. Then they're home on the 31st of January, 12:30 against the Kings. And then you get the February where you play the final 2 games before the Olympic break, where the 3rd you play the Capitals and the 5th you play the Senators. And that's the Senators game is the last game before the 3-week Olympic break, basically. And then when you come back from the Olympic break, it's a road back-to-back in Washington and the Rangers. And then you play Boston at home on a Saturday to close out February. Then you get to the rest of the schedule, blah, 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 blah. So, hey, we'll see where this takes them. I believe Danny Briere did speak today before the game as well, talking about like how, even though they extended Christian Dvorak, it really doesn't change their plans and what they're trying to accomplish here. They're not going to go after any major rental at the trade deadline, give up major assets to try to go and acquire a rental or stuff like that. So, like, their plan is still basically the same. The Dvorak thing doesn't change things. It's typical GM speak, so I'm not really shocked at what Briere said. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see where it takes them. We'll see where it leads them. So, they've been winning a lot of games recently. They're playing good hockey. We'll see where it takes them on this homestand. Like I said, Toronto has been playing a lot better as of late. Austin Matthews specifically, so that'll be a tough game. Tampa Bay always just is going to give you a tough time. Where is Tampa Bay in the standings, actually? Just in the Tampa Bay is first in the Atlantic. So, yeah. And they've won 8 in a row. So, yeah, they're playing really good. They're playing really good. They look like the Tampa Bay of old the past few years. So those will be 2 very tough games. And then, obviously, going on the West Coast, Vegas, Utah, Colorado, that'll be a very tough stretch. This is definitely a tough month. This is a tough month for the Flyers. Some tough tasks before you get into that Olympic break. So we'll see where it takes them. We don't have any calls on the Anytime hotline. We got a couple of you in the chat right here. And then we'll end it off because I got to go edit Snow the Goalie and all that stuff. So, Austin, how you doing? Wow, some good hockey to tide us over until the weekly teeth clench. I'm assuming you're talking about the Eagles when they play San Francisco on Sunday at 4:30. Yeah, definitely. JMJR13, great post-game interview from Zegras. I'm usually tough on Hathaway, but tonight he definitely... Oh, yeah, Hathaway brought it. I even forgot to mention that Matvei Michkov didn't play this game because I guess he's dealing with some type of foot injury that he sustained in Edmonton. And I think it was... I guess he took a puck off the foot off of a pass from Zegras, and I guess the foot swelled up coming back to Philadelphia. They took x-rays and everything on it, and the x-rays were negative. I guess Taka just decided to give him a night off. So I guess he could just rest the foot. I guess the foot was swelling up or something like that, so that's most likely the case. So hopefully he's good to go for Thursday. So we'll see where that takes them. And, yeah, I think that'll do it for tonight. Like I said, I got to go edit Snow the Goalie. So definitely will be an interesting long night right here. So appreciate you guys tuning in as always. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Don't forget to drop a like. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. Also use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SEATGEEK. Great deal, don't pass it up. Appreciate you all for tuning in tonight when you tune in live or tune in after the fact. So, thanks guys.